Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Todd and Julie Chrisley talk their first interaction with each other. Todd and Julie Chrisley have talked about their first interaction with each other since getting released from federal prison. Fans have had a lot of questions about the situation. Was it weird? Was it awkward? There is a lot that people were wondering about the first time they reconnected. However, Todd and Julie have clarified the answers to fans' questions. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd and Julie Chrisley were incarcerated for 28 months. This is how long they also went without seeing each other. They were in federal prison for tax evasion and fraud. However, they still deny doing anything wrong. Donald Trump pardoned them recently, and they were able to come home. This was huge news for their family. Savannah had to take custody of her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe. It was hard on everyone, not just Todd and Julie. Fans were glad to see that they were back home. Now the two are doing interviews and talking about everything fans have been wondering. The Chrisleys are working on putting their lives back together after their reputation was burned to the ground. Todd and Julie Chrisley have talked about their first interaction post-prison. Fans were wondering if it was weird or awkward. Julie claimed it was not at all. Todd then added, "For me, I was never away from her. She was in my spirit the entire time. I thought of every second of my day. And so when I hugged her the first time, it was like I was home. It was not like I had been missing, or I knew I was coming home with the same woman that I left. Now when I say the same, I'm in my heart spiritually. We have changed, and if we did not change in 28 months, it would have been wasted." People loved his answer, and the two seemed to be just as in love as they were before. It seems as though the interaction between the two was not weird, nor was it awkward. Todd knew he was coming home to Julie. It was just a matter of when. Todd was continuously thinking of her, and she was doing the same. However, they both admitted that they had changed, although they are glad that they did. What do you think about this situation? Are you shocked there was no weirdness? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. When Todd and Julie Chrisley recount the very first time their paths crossed, it plays out like a scene from a Southern rom-com, charming, a little over the top, and brimming with a kind of chemistry that makes you lean forward to catch every detail. It was 1994. Todd begins, a twinkle in his eye, and a knowing smirk tugging at his lips, like he's about to drop a juicy piece of gossip. Even he can't believe anymore. And I was freshly divorced, but honey, still very much in demand. Julie chuckles softly at his flair, leaning in just slightly, her fingers laced together in her lap as she adds, "He thought he was God's gift," walking in with those pleated khakis and a pager clipped to his belt. They both laugh at that, long, real laughter that floats up into the rafters of whatever room they're in. This is their rhythm. His dramatics, her dry wit. Fire and honey. Their first meeting happened in a small town in Georgia, not at a fancy party or on some glitzy TV set, but at a mutual friend's house. It was one of those Friday night gatherings, Julie recalls. You know, the kind where everyone's drinking sweet tea or cheap wine, and there's casserole in every corner of the kitchen. Todd claims he saw her first. She walked in wearing this white denim skirt and a top that matched her eyes, like blue had just come down from heaven and asked to live in her irises. Julie rolls her eyes at that, clearly accustomed to his poetic exaggerations. Truth is, I was barely paying attention. I'd just come to say hello to my friend. But there he was, all confident and loud, like a walking billboard for charm. What she didn't know, what he later confessed, was that Todd had already heard about her. Word of mouth in a southern town travels faster than a drop secret. I'd heard there was this sweet, grounded girl, a real church-going type, good head on her shoulders. And I thought maybe I could use a little grounding, he says with a laugh. Their first conversation was a clumsy mix of flirtation and friendly interrogation. He asked me where I went to church before he even asked me what I did for a living, Julie says, amused. And I thought, well, that's either the boldest move or the most desperate. Todd interrupts. In my defense, I was trying to figure out if the Lord would approve before I caught feelings. They talked for hours that night, tucked into a corner of the porch, away from the blare of country music and boisterous chatter. It felt easy, Julie remembers. Like we were supposed to meet. Like maybe we already had in some other life. Still, she didn't fall for him immediately. I thought he was trouble. The kind of man who'd sweep you off your feet and forget to tell you there's a storm coming. Todd smirks. She wasn't wrong. What surprised Julie was how persistent he was, but not in the clingy way. In the thoughtful way. He'd send flowers, but not roses. He said those were cliché. He'd send me sunflowers, hydrangeas, sometimes just daisies. Said I reminded him of summer. He'd drop by with bags of groceries and cook her dinner. Not just mac and cheese out of a box, but legit Southern meals. He made this fried chicken once, she says, smiling at the memory. It was burnt on one side and raw on the other. I still told him it was the best I'd ever had. The turning point came one Sunday morning. Julie was singing in the church choir, standing 3 rows from the front, when she looked out into the congregation and saw Todd. Alone, wearing a suit too sharp for 9 a.m., holding a Bible upside down. He didn't know the first thing about Scripture. Julie laughs, but he was there. For me. Todd remembers that day too. I wasn't sure what I believed back then, but I believed in her, and that was enough reason to show up. From that moment on, something shifted. It was no longer flirtation. It was foundation. They dated for a while before tying the knot in 1996. It wasn't always easy, Julie admits. We were both bringing our pasts into something new. But we decided early on we were either all in or not at all. Todd nods solemnly. She taught me that love doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like someone remembering how you take your coffee, or waiting up for you even when they're tired, or calling you out when your ego gets too big. They've come a long way since that porch conversation. Fame, reality TV, scandal, even legal troubles. They've weathered storms no one saw coming. But when you ask them about that first meeting, it's still vivid, still glowing. Julie once said in an interview, I didn't marry Todd because he was perfect. I married him because when he looked at me, I felt like the best version of myself. Todd, ever the romantic, sums it up with a grin. Meeting Julie was like finding your way home without even realizing you were lost.